Georgia.
Hello, shooters, loaders, and casters. Welcome to the Georgia Shooting Connection Friday Night Live stream. Hope y'all all had a good week. 25 comments in 1 minute. I will not be able to catch up with those. Glad y'all all here. Hope you had a good week. We got the usual suspects. Thank you guys for joining us on the panel. How was your week, CW?
Busy week. We had halfway decent weather this week. I was able to do a couple things in the yard. Got a couple more videos done. Got to the range once. So pretty good week. Tried to get there today, but it didn't happen. But I stayed busy here at the house, so all's good. Scotsman, what about you? How was your week?
Not too bad. Busy week at work, which is good. Starting to get some more orders coming in, so that's a good thing. Been a while, so we're getting busy. That's good. Other than that, just good to be here. Glad it's Friday. Can relax a little bit, hang out with my buddies, and hang out with folks in the side chat. Good to see everyone out there. Walter, what's going on with you, man?
Well, as always, I am happy to be here. It's a good place for me to be on Friday nights for sure. I look forward to it all week. I got the range a couple times this week and just kind of played around mostly. I got a little bit of video work done, but not much came out online yet. I got to piece it all together this weekend. But it's been a good week for me too. Got done throwing money at my pickup. Oh man, it needed brakes and tires. I used to do that myself. I won't do it anymore. I'll put it that way. When you go hire that stuff done, you better bring your mortgage and, be ready to hand over the dog and everything else. It's getting pricey to do that stuff on a pickup. Only thing more expensive than pickup tires is motorcycle tires, I think. But anyway, good week. I'm glad to be here. And let's go talk with this dude right over here who's always blowing that smoke. What's up, Gene?
Evening, everybody. Hey, thanks for having me on. I always love my Friday nights with the boys here. I always have a good time. Man, had a busy week at work. Got back from the mini vacay and man, got slammed. So I've got a couple videos done. Got a couple I got to get uploaded. Looking forward to the weekend. Gonna have a good day tomorrow and got a shoot on Sunday. So all is well. Hillbilly.
Hey, brother. So that smoke come over this way.
Oh, sorry about that, man. Scotty's on fire.
Oh, man. So happy to be here, fellas. Thanks for inviting me. Always appreciate it. Great way to start out a Friday night. And I really do appreciate each and every one of you. And yeah, I have some videos coming up, but they'll probably be out next week, I believe. So anyway, it's just been doing a lot of other stuff, this last week. So anyway, Pat, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Oh, I'm not too bad. I literally rushed in here about 20 minutes ago and tried to put on something presentable. I was kind of dirty and nasty. Been doing a lot of field work and stuff, so haven't got much in the way of videos or anything else done, but just real busy week. Super busy week between fixing machinery and in the field and cows and everything else. It's been good. It's been productive. It's not too hard. Nobody listens to me anyway, so it don't matter. But anywho, so yeah, that's what I've been up to.
Sounds like you have a springboard stuck to your tongue, Pat.
I was wondering if that was just me because I'm getting that little
Yep.
sign where your internet's. So I thought might be just me. So
Oh, I heard
anyway,
it from Pat.
Is the audio still good?
yeah, man,
Okay. All right. I'll check into that.
it is now. That's one of the things Chico used to fuss about. Carter being on the phone and on his on his tablet all at the same time, just sucking up bandwidth, man. That's and Rigby's out there right now on her tablet. I guarantee you. That's the reason I got the little sine wave thing a while ago while Pat was breaking up. Well, we're glad everybody's here. Somebody else just popped in. Check him out. Speak of him, and he'll pop in here. What's going on, Chico?
There he is.
Chico.
Hey, buddy.
Hey guys, I heard y'all saying something about bandwidth, and I think that's what's happening to me right now.
Hi, Chico.
Hey, how's everyone doing, man?
Better now.
Good.
Doing good.
Good. Oh, good to be on here.
Good to see you, brother. Good to
Yes,
see
sir.
you. I want to thank Chico for not throwing rotten tomatoes at me this past Saturday when we did the wedding for Kyle. By the way, Chico, that the video was up. Gene, thank you for filming that, and I put the video together and put some music to it. It's on the Georgia Shooting Connection channel. If
The
you
video
haven't-
came out good.
Yes, it
I'm
did.
gonna have to
Good
check it
job.
out, man. I've been so busy, but I definitely need to check it out.
Good job.
I saw
on
it
the
live though, so
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. It was a fun time. It was a fun evening.
it was, man. It was good. Glad to be a part of it.
Yeah, that was a good time. Good food, good people.
Yeah, what y'all didn't see in the video was they had a food truck and they made some pretty doggone good cheeseburgers. Just saying.
Two
You had two of them?
of them, man. I had to put it away. I
Man.
put it away, man. I'm telling you.
Not just that, the skinny Scotsman, who's thin as a buggy whip, not only had two, but the second one was a double, Chico, with bacon. And, I mean,
Well, the guy messed up my bacon on the first one, so he felt so bad he wanted to make me another one and correct it. And then when he was making it, he's like, "Hey, do you want a double one?" I'm like, "Sure, why not?"
that was the best
good
looking
job.
burger I've seen in a while, Scotsman. I mean, for real.
Those skinny guys, we can pack it away.
Yeah, that's a fact. Well, tonight we want to talk about rimfire and what do we do with it? What do we like about it? What do we love about it? How we go about what are you doing? Do you shoot competitions with 22 rimfire or any rimfire cartridges? I know Walter down there's got some 17 HMR and I don't know how much 22 long rifle. I know one gun that Chico has is one that I wouldn't mind acquiring down the road. He bought Carter the Henry lever action 22, and that thing's got a very short stroke, so that thing's a fun little gun. So, who wants to start this mess?
All right, I'll start. Everybody jump at once. I like rimfire stuff, and I do have several 22 long rifles. I got a couple of Ruger semis. I have an old Mark II slab side, kind of a neat semi, and I've got a Mark IV Ruger. What else do I have? I have the Ruger single 6 that I've had for 40 some odd years. That's just kind of another fun little one to go plink around with and fool with. And I've got the mandatory 1022, and I've got a lever gun. I've got a Henry Golden Boy in 22 long rifle. Then with 17 HMR, I've got a Savage B17, a bolt action. I've got an AR-15 platform converted to 17 HMR from a kit called Garrow Industries that I got a number of years ago. And that was kind of a tricky thing to do. But anyway, I've got that one. And then recently I got another Ruger bolt action RMR. Not RMR, RPR, Ruger Precision Rifle in 17 HMR. And that's 17 HMR is my favorite squirrel getting gun. There's nothing left of them. But I mean, you can't go squirrel hunting with them if you plan on eating them, because there's gonna be nothing left to eat. They'll turn a squirrel inside out at 100 yards. It's interesting little round. But so yeah, I like shooting rimfire, and 22. Used to be just dog cheap, and it's anymore we're paying for 22 long rifle what we used to pay for 9mm or something. It's just gotten kind of expensive. And here in California, we can't have ammo shipped to our house anymore. That happened several years ago, and just before that law went into effect, man, I stocked up about that wide and that deep on all of my rimfire stuff. So I've got lots of it that I bought at 7 or 8 years ago prices. So we're in good shape. So I do like to go shoot rimfire. It's, after shooting the big bore handguns and stuff, and sending a lot of money downrange, you can go shoot a whole bunch of 22 stuff for less than the price of a primer today. So inexpensive, good trigger time practice, good to practice your grip with, all that kind of good stuff with rimfire. So that's what I got going on with rimfire. No 22 Magnum. I keep thinking about that. Mostly because of this guy up here likes it a lot, and he's put out quite a bit of video with it, and he's kind of got me interested, but I don't have
So we
any.
got a sighting here. Y'all ready?
Oh, yes, sir.
In 3, 2, 1. What's going on, Mario?
West Coast weirdo.
So we got 50 folks out there watching us already. Can y'all believe
Already,
that?
wow.
That's
Wow.
amazing. So I'm sitting here while you're naming all that stuff off. I'm trying to think of what I got going on with 22. Let's get down there to Chico. I know you got the TMX Ruger. Taurus.
Yeah, I got the TX22, and I mainly got so I've always had 22s, but I got that TX22 around COVID because sometimes I can shoot a match with 22, probably like a steel challenge. And but I got that mainly for Carter to practice on and get familiar with the firearm fundamentals. But one thing that I love, I bought the CMMG bolt conversion, and during COVID, when everything went up, I take my regular bolt out of my AR and I'll put it in my AR, and that's how Carter started learning the controls. Because remember that time, Jamie, when he shot your AR? Well, it was 4th of July. He didn't like it. He didn't like the recoil. But getting him to learn the controls, because essentially most of the controls on the AR are somewhat similar, if not similar. All as long as he understands the controls, I can bump him up to the actual caliber later. But that, like Jamie was saying, that Henry, I love shooting that thing, man. And I do have a 17 HMR. Believe it or not, I have not shot it. And I've had it since before COVID. I think me and Jamie went to range day in 2019, and we took it down. I still didn't even shoot it. But I like 22. Like, it's cheap, like Walter said, and it's a plethora of ammo for it. You can try out which firearm does not like, or which ammo your firearm does not like it. And plus, we got a 22 can, so we're shooting plenty of that. If y'all ever seen my, is it a kitchen pop video or something like that? I don't know. If y'all have to check that out on my channel. Me and Uncle Jim was going pool pop. That's what it was, pool pop video. So me and Uncle Jim was going back and forth. So, but I like the round. It's good training round. It's cheap, and man, it's good to practice on and good to learn. And I just enjoy it, man.
That was most of our first. Who wants to go next?
I'll throw it. Just like what Chico said, I've got a Henry 22 lever action. Swapped out the small loop, put the big loop on it. Absolutely love that gun. Got the speedy loader to go along with it. And that is the true definition of load on Monday and shoot till Sunday type of deal right there. Especially with that speedy loader. And got a Heritage Rough Rider with the dual cylinders, one for mag, one for regular 22 long rifle. Love that little pistol, just fun to plink around with. Got a mag Savage bolt action that was my first 22 Magnum rifle, and it's taken plenty of small game, coyotes, everything, especially if you can get up into that 40 grain range with that mag on there. It'll lay the smack down on the coyote with the right bullet in it. Let's see, what else do I got? Got a, did have a Sig Sauer Mosquito, and that was the best thing that I ever got rid of. And let's see, what else? Let's see, got my dad's original Savage bolt action 22 long rifle with a 16.5-inch barrel. I can't remember how long he's had that. He's had that since he was probably 20, and I shoot that anytime I want, and man, that thing is still super, super accurate. Let's see, what else do I got? Oh, and some of you have seen this rifle, some of you haven't. But it is a 18. It's a Winchester octagon barrel with the buckhorn sights. It was 18 something. I can't go grab it right now. I can't touch it or anything. So I'll have to look at it later. But it was late 1800s 22, and it was my mom's. And the lifting arm in it to bring the next shell up didn't work about halfway. Oh, she probably only put a half a dozen shells before it quit grabbing. Took it out, machined it, welded it, ground it down, just give it a new profile. I got it shooting again. Shoots pretty decent. It's had a lot of rounds, so it's not super accurate like some of the other ones I got. But, you know, if you're at that 50 yards and under, squirrels and rabbits and stuff like that, yeah, it's 9 times out of 10 it's gonna do the job. But yeah, that's probably my favorite one. And it's the old gallery gun style where you roll the pin out the side and it comes right apart. That's probably one of my more favorite ones just because it's got more sentimental value to it. But yeah, that's what I got for 22. And man, I just, every once in a while when I feel like it, just go out to the range and just start plinking with that. Just go have some fun. It's just good, cheap fun. Whether you throw a pop can down on the ground and do it like I used to when I was a kid, or shoot at some steel, or whatever, you know. So, and one other thing I did forget. I got a little Savage Rascal for my son, and we just got done putting a scope on that thing, and yeah, he's pretty good. He's pretty good marksman with that. I wouldn't want to stand out in front of him now. That's for dang sure. So he's about 10 years old now, and man, he loves shooting that thing. So at least once a week, he asks me, he says, "Hey, Dad, can we go shooting?" so that's always a good excuse to crank out the 22s and go out to the little range we got beside the house and go have some fun. So anyway, that's what I got.
Let's see. I'm only in possession of two 22s. One one pistol, one rifle. I got a Taurus TX22 competition that I do steel challenge with. Lots of fun. Got all the goodies on it. And then I got a Marlin Model 60 22 rifle, semi-automatic. Got the old one of the original Tasco scopes on it. It's a good 100-yard plinker, man. You take it to the range and set it up and hit the steel plates to the 100 yards all day long with it. Love it. I've had different ones in the past, but that's just, I tend to cycle through things. I don't really keep too much. So I'm just down with the 2 right now. That's all I got.
Just 2.
Yeah,
I
just
don't
2.
think American.
It's better than having none.
True.
Yeah,
True.
yes.
And 2 is better than 1.
Yeah. one is none and 2 is 1.
One
Well,
or one
yeah.
number.
I've been shooting them a long time. My first firearm I ever shot was a 22, and I've got that gun. It was a Ruger single 6, very early one. I shoot 22s in competition, bullseye competition. I've been shooting that since the mid '80s. Just had a meeting last night. As a matter of fact, we have 4 big meetings a year, and I try to stay involved. I haven't been really involved the past almost 2 years for obvious reasons, but I've been going now for the past 6 months or so. So I got 2 meetings in, and it's pretty good. It's it's a thankless thing, everybody's a volunteer, so a lot of critics and a lot of thankless tasks to do, but good times just the same. Rimfires, yeah, I play with about all of them. I've got one 5mm 591, I think the gun is. Thought I was never going to shoot it again, and then Aguila started making ammo, so I was able to get ammo again. That's a fun one. It's not super accurate, but it's accurate enough. It's a good varminter. That 20 grain bullet's going a little faster than the 22 mag. It's about on par with the light bullet 22 magnums. It's a fatter case, bottleneck. It's a neat one. And 22 mags are my all-time favorite. I just like them a lot. My first one was later, probably around 1990 was my first one I ever had. But it's certainly, I've made up for lost time. I play with the 17 Mach 2. That's my favorite squirrel rifle because it's silly accurate. And when you could get ammo, it was pretty cheap. I've actually seen past couple shops I've been in have had it on the shelf, so it's good to see again. For the longest time, I was buying it, at least a box every time I was in a store that had it, just to stock up. But I've got quite a stock of it, so I don't bother to buy it very much anymore. I don't shoot it very often. Long rifle, I go through quite a lot of it, especially when it was 2 of us shooting competitions. Our winter competitions were slower. We would shoot a practice every week, which was usually 50 rounds apiece, so 100 rounds or so for practice. And then the matches were without any alibis, they were 60 rounds. But when we were shooting the summer leagues, we had a 1800 we shot once a month. We had 900s we shot once a week, and 300s we shot once a week. So that's a lot of shooting. That's a lot of bullets. We were shooting just under 2 cases a year of 22s is what we shot with the competitions. So I've burned up quite a bit of competition, quite a bit of 22s rather through through my pistol barrels. This is all pistol. We did get a little bit involved, maybe 10 years ago, 12 years ago. A local club started a Friday night random match. They would do plates and pins indoors, man on man. And once a month it was carbines. So that's where my wife decided that she really liked that Smith & Wesson 1522. I had her shooting a 1022, and she didn't really care for the magazine changes. She couldn't get the hang of dropping that magazine out and locking the bolt back, and they can be a little bit of a pain. Hello, Julian.
Hey guys.
So she didn't like that, but
Hey, buddy.
the AR, she
Hi,
liked
Matt.
she liked those controls. She could work that really good, and she got a big kick out of being faster than a lot of the guys. That was a big fun for her. And they had snub nose matches they did with 22s once a month. That was wild. 1 and 2 inch barrel pistols, 22 long rifle. Wow. I mean, sometimes you'd have 3 cylinderfuls for the guys to hit all the targets. And anybody who's done, that kind of stuff, if you got to change a mag, you lost. I mean, or reloaded cylinder, you lost, but not with those snub noses. Nobody seemed able to shoot them good. And like I say, 2 or 3 cylinderfuls was normal to clear a rack. That was good times. 22s are just a lot of fun. Do a lot of practice with them. Thankfully, we can get the ammo again, and it's a little better priced, but not as good as it once was. How about you, Hillbilly? What have you done with 22s or rimfires in general?
Yeah, I got a pile of them here and there. Man, I like good 22s. I don't know. I guess I ain't like the bad ones. Got a pretty good, decent little collection of Marlin 22s, bolt action, automatics, lever actions, pistols. Man, it's just, they're always fun. They're fun to shoot. They're, budget friendly. Most usually on purchasing the gun and, the ammo. So that always makes it fun. Can't say enough about them. I think everybody enjoys them. I really, 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 I'm glad I bought the CMMG conversion kit for the AR. I actually have 2 of them now because it's just a fun setup. It works really well in everything I put it in, and having grandchildren growing up, it's a good way to, like Chico was saying a while ago, to get them introduced to an AR platform, and so that's always been great. Very, very big fan of the 22 Magnum. If I could afford that, I'd probably shoot that most every day. I mean, I really, really like those also. So, but yeah. So, Scotsman, you got any 22s?
Currently, I only have the one. Some of you guys have seen it before. We did a couple different things with it, videos with Daniel and stuff with it, but it's the Heritage Rough Rider revolver 16-inch barrel.
Nice.
It's a fun plinker. And I have a holster courtesy of Mark Thomas. I have to show him today, but I do have a holster courtesy of Mark Thomas for that one. And at some point, I'll get that video done where we're going to do a little fun video with that. But I've shot a few others. Shot the Ruger RPR when it first came out. That thing's super nice, super accurate, and I would like to get one of those at some point in time. They jumped up in price, and they've slowly been coming back down again. So at some point in time. One of those is on the list. Henry lever action in 22 is on the list. And then the conversion kit you guys have been talking about, I actually found that on clearance at a couple of different places. So we end up picking one of those up at some point.
That's one thing I need to get is that CMMG conversion kit. The cool thing about that to me seems like for like Rigby and Carter, you got that adjustable stock, so you got that adjustable length of pull. I think that would be, of course, that's a heavy firearm, particularly in the front, so that it'll take Rigby a while to be able to hold that up. But right now, it's time for us to go through the side chat, and what better to type in than since rimfire tend to go to 22, let's type in 22.
If you're going to look for something like that, Jamie, look at that Smith & Wesson 1522. It's only a little more than the conversion. It's a whole other gun, and it's a lighter. It's all around better. It functions better, more reliable.
That's good.
It is a great gun.
Okay, so tonight I have this. So up with y'all. There's OCD Outdoors. You want me to do that again?
Finally.
Is that a mouse?
That's why they call it a mouse. You can hold it by the tail and it can't get away. Okay. So I can scroll up now. I don't need no up arrow. Look like MacMan 039 Reloading got in here first ×2, and OCD Outdoors is out there. Let me put that up, and I'm sure some of the guys can answer that question for you, OCD, as soon as we call out everybody. We got Pat in the bunker is in the panel, on the panel, and in the side chat. We got Big Al, Michael Dunn's out there, Kyle, Hillbilly Up, Christian Grest, Paul Loud, Big Al, Bobby Barlow, there's 6-shooter Texan, Colt 1927, Fluffy 10mm Jeep Guy, Casey Dolph, Senior Master Sergeant Bulldog, OCD Outdoors, Tactical Fudd, Dufford 426. Chico Wise is in the panel tonight. Great to have you with us, brother. Corners and Doors, Reloader 762. Mike McClune, I hope I said that right, Mike. Edward Petty, Bama Dad, 01 guy, Mike McClune again. There's Tread, what's up? Big Al's out there, Boomstick Revenge. Imagine him typing in 22, right? And we got Big Al again with Roman numerals, Info Bros, Chessboard, Mike Hester, Edward Petty, Alaska 1, Andy. Big Al's just trying to see how many times I'll call out his name. And we love you, Big Al, and ain't nothing you can do about it. There's a good one. So, yeah, what's the best can for a 22? Do we know?
I only own 122 can, but so mine is the Silencer Code Switchback. I like that thing. Then again, it's my first can, so I may be a little biased, and somebody else may be able to answer that or give other options. Let's say that, but I haven't had any problems with the Silencer Code. It is a modular can, so I can change the baffles or make it longer or shorter. It works great.
Hard seltzer can. That's what I like shooting with the 22.
Oil filter.
A solvent trap.
There you go.
Anyway.
Yeah, those are pretty good.
Earlier this week, I was cleaning some guns, and I thought, It'd be nice to have that solvent trap. You got your rifles up there on your bench and you're sticking that rod through there where your edge red on it. And when that brush comes out the bore, it's just like spraying that stuff on your wall. You know what I mean? So, all you guys that think, or whoever may be watching, that solvent trap is silencer. No, it's not. It's a real thing for some of us. Whatever. Yes, I'm an idiot. Yes, I'm gullible. Yes, I've led a sheltered life. So
Talking about competitions with the 22s, I don't know what all you guys are sub to, but Mr. Revolver Guy also has a day at the range online, does a bunch of 22 challenges. Boomstick, who's in the audience there in the side chat, just started one himself. And No Pro is another guy that's a small channel who's got a couple of challenges that he's come up with. And there's been a couple other guys coming up with them too. And they all pretty much resemble each other. They're pretty much all 50 yards, 22 rimfire. And the targets are small and challenging. I've shot a couple of them. You've probably watched some of my videos. And my range is always windy. And the way it's constructed, we have butts in the ground to put all the stanchions, the standers in for the target frames. And when we had them out in the open, just in a flat field, they got shot up far too much. We had to change them all the time, and it just got too expensive. We couldn't police our guys well enough, and they just shot them to crap and destroyed them. So we built berms in front of all the target butts to protect the framework. Well, I'm discovering that because of the wind and the direction of the mountain we're up against, it creates a lot of turbulence right at the base of the target and in front of the target. And I've started hanging ribbons to really watch it. And sometimes those ribbons go straight up in the air. Straight up. Literally in front of my target, back and forth. Wind generally doesn't blow up. and what that does to bullets is crazy. Shooting some of these subsonics with these big high-powered scopes, you can see that bullet come up from the bottom and then drop into the target. You can watch it go. Well, when you're watching them on the blustery days, that bullet comes up from the bottom, and as it starts to come down, it goes whoop, 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 whoop. It goes all over the place. And you take a gun that'll shoot on your pinky nail, and you'd be lucky to hit a $50 because of that turbulence of wind. But it makes it challenging. It makes it fun. You can't really read that wind. You can't, go into the wind and give it a little bit extra because it's going in different directions. But if you didn't have that, you could play with that, and it's a lot of fun. And I encourage all you guys to check out these channels and shoot these challenges. The way most of the guys work is you send them an email and they'll send you a file and you can print it on your printer at home and shoot it. Day at the range, Mr. Revolver Guy has a website, so you can download it yourself. You just go to his website and download it. But I picked up a ream of cardstock. I forget what the weight is, but it's a heavier paper, and it goes right through my printer, so I can print out targets on a harder stock. So it cuts a nice clean hole. It's easy to see your misses and your hits, and it's a lot of fun. I've got two buddies that do it with me, and I got another buddy who just bought that On-Shoot 64 that you saw in one of my videos there. And I'm trying to get him to shoot it too. So it'd be a lot of fun, especially with a number of guys. Two of us are local here, but everybody else has different ranges. So My one buddy there wants me to go up to his range, which is about 40 minutes from me, but he swears that although he has wind, it's not anywhere near like what we've got. So we're going to try and shoot one of these challenges at his range. And if I can get my other buddy involved, we'll go to his range. And it'll be nice to go to different ranges and try different things and see how the other half lives, kind of. So
Well, you can
check these things out. I think you guys would enjoy it. It's something else to shoot. It's a little camaraderie. There's no money or prizes or nothing per se, but you some of the guys have standings. Like A Day at the Range puts them on his website, and he'll list your name and who you did. If you got a video, he'll link your video. So it's a lot of fun.
You do like Boomstick. He throws a rock right before he shoots his 22 to cut out the wind turbulence.
Yeah, he's a riot. He's a riot. His challenge is pretty funny. It's most of the guys are going to have super high dollar rifles. They're going to have the highest, most expensive ammunition you can find, with the best scope and the best rest and the nice range, or they're shooting indoors, or every. I don't want to call it an advantage because it's what they can afford, and God bless them, they can do it. I'm jealous, but his challenge is you can't use any of that stuff. You got to shoot the way you hold the gun. You can't have a rest. You can't have a bipod. You got to shoot it with regular ammo. It levels the playing field. So it's pretty neat.
And there's guys out there that are shooting just regular stock too, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Not at all.
The range also did one with his regular because he got called out by someone in comments. So he went out. He was a little peeved about that one, but he went out with a regular stock gun and shot good. But also, don't think you have to use 22 or 17 or anything like that. If you got a PCP or an air rifle you want to try and use, absolutely go ahead and use that too. It's all about having fun, getting out there and shooting. 6 shooters out there, he's gonna try one with a PCP. I picked up a PCP here not too long ago, thanks to 6 with his advice, and I plan on shooting some of these with that as well. So should be fun.
Could you drop that link, CW, for Mr. Revolver Guy? I've been looking, I can't find his channel.
Okay, I'll send it to you.
Some of our moderators can put that in the side chat. I'm sure they will. So I believe his website is dayattherange.com. And I believe on YouTube, he's Mr. Revolver Guy. He's been on this show before, right, Chico?
Absolutely. A couple times.
Okay, I got to run down my 22s. My favorite is the Marlin Model 60. I have, of course, my first gun, the Ted Williams single shot lever action, the falling block thing, like Hillbilly's got. And of course, mine's 22 long rifle, not 22 Magnum. It's made by Ithaca, I believe. Great little gun. It's got a real heavy barrel, short but heavy barrel, kind of like me. And it shoots really good. Then I've got my granddaddy's Winchester semi-auto 22. I have 2 of the, I think that's either a model 150 or a 190 on that Winchester. I have 2 of the Heritage Rough Riders, but I only have one 22 mag cylinder. So I need to order me another one of those. And I have actually it's wife's, but thanks, Tread. Appreciate you, brother. A Walther P22 pistol, semi-auto. And I'm trying to think if there's any more, but heck, man, that's 5. And I'm ashamed to say I hardly ever shoot them. And, like CW referenced earlier, we went through this period where you couldn't get 22. And then when you did find it, it was crazy expensive, and now it's out there. So one thing I need to do is start buying some up. So that's where I'm at on that.
Yeah, I just got an order in from Midway because they got some SK in. I've been looking for SK for a while, wanting to try that. I was able to get Lapua local, and Ely I can get local too. But SK just isn't around here.
Yeah.
And they had some, so I grabbed it.
Another thing I'd like to say real quick, if you're in the Glocks, I have the Glock 44, which is 22 long rifle version of the Glock 19, and it's the same size, fits the same holsters and everything. And I got a pretty decent deal on it when I bought it. It was on sale, but it is handy. Like, you know, you can just grab if you have the Glock holster, you want to go out and do some plinking, you know, it's pretty fun. And, you know, so there is some of those things out there too. Did we hear from MacMan yet?
No,
not yet.
Pac-Man hadn't got to talk about rimfire, anything.
Yeah.
So what have I got? I got the little Savage Rascal that my grandkids shoot, and I got a little Smith & Wesson MP22, the little AR, and I got the Ruger SR22. So those are the three that my grandkids like to shoot. I've got a couple of the Rugers. I got the Wrangler, the same one that CW's got, the one with the little bird head, the bronze colored pistol. Love that pistol, it's great. And then I got that tactical one. You know, we all put stupid scopes on them and everything, that little pistol with a threaded barrel. And I think I got a Vortex Strike Fire on top of that. It looks crazy, but it's such a fun little gun. What else I got over there? I got the Taurus TX22. Is it the sport one that everybody's got? And I got the Henry 22 octagon barrel. That's a nice little gun. And I think that's it. My 22s, a few pistols, and a couple of rifles. And I got one 22 can. I think it's a rugged. I think the rugged can I got for 22, and I can interchange it between all the pistols and the rifles. So I just got the 122 can. And same as Walter, I'm looking at magnums after watching some of CW stuff. I'm thinking of getting I can buy that cylinder quite cheap for the little Ruger, the little, I think it's that Tactical Sport. I think they do a 22 mag cylinder for that, so I might order one of those. But I still want, I think I'm going to go for a nice bolt action, and a nice pistol in 22 mag, like a semi-automatic. So those are on my bucket lists. Oh, and sorry, just last one. That King Cobra, the Colt King Cobra, the 10-shot 22 revolver, that is absolutely stunning. So that's going to be something else I look at pretty soon as well.
Yeah, I love that gun, and I also like to add the Smith & Wesson revolver like that. Similar, 10-shot.
We got Kingpins out there. R4 Mississippi Thunder, New Texarkans out there. Trying to think of anybody else that just joined us. So what's our, y'all been talking a little bit about ammo. Let's go around and talk. What's your favorite rimfire ammo?
CCI standard velocity. But I got a can, so I'm biased on that. So here's the thing that some people may or may not know. So what I thought at first when I got my can, I gotta buy subsonic ammo. Nope, buy standard velocity ammo. Standard velocity
in a pistol.
Yeah, but so with my normally I'm shooting my can on that TX22. Standard velocity, man, is great. I put in CCI quiets and it won't cycle the action, especially with the can on it. But it's crazy quiet. So, but I do like CCI stuff. I like the SK stuff too. What CW was talking about, but they've got so much variety, or they got so many flavors of SK ammo. I did have to buy some from Midway myself. And I got the bulk stuff, back when we used to have the Walmart, the Federal 550 packs and stuff like that. I purchased those, thousands and thousands of those. They was like $16 for 550. So, but they work good.
I find just about any can works good on a 22. I use my 30 cal cans on them, and it did stupid quiet.
We had a Kyle Luss sighting,
We did.
and we got KFWs out there. Always good to see him. You can't go wrong with a Smith and Wesson old school revolver, anyway. See what else we got out here. Duffer says whatever's on sale. Bulldog says CCI clean subsonic. I like CCI mini mags myself. That's just what seems to shoot best for me. KFW's SK and Norma Match 22.
That's good stuff.
The Gila's pretty good if you can find it.
Yep. I've got some of that, since we're on that subject, Aguila subsonic 40 grain bullets out of that little Savage Rascal. And if you're hunting, rabbits or anything, halfway close, just because it's subsonic, there's not big bullet dropping off pretty quick on there. Man, it will lay a hurting on stuff when you shoot it with that. If it's coming out of my Magnum 22 out of the old bolt action rifle, 30 grain V Max from Hornady works super, super good out of that bolt, and it will just tear stuff up with that bullet on there. If I'm just planking, it's just whatever I find on the shelf and just have at it. The only thing that I only really ever had problems with is the Remington golden bullets in the on some of the semi-autos I've had in the past. Federal, not so much. Norma, not a problem. CCI, not a problem. But it just all depends on what I'm doing with it. If I'm hunting with it, I'm gonna feed it pretty good stuff. If I'm just plinking, I'm just running whatever I want to. But coming out of that Henry, don't matter. It loves everything and it shoots it accurate. I absolutely love that gun. It'll just throw lead down range and it's accurate.
I like to use the CCI Blazer. That works well for me. And I also like the Winchester M22 stuff. That seems to work well. And I'll be honest, I was going to ask CW now that I've never shot sort of good at real sort of high-end 22 ammo. Is it worth spending that extra money on it? And also, I can see he's doing a bit of a series at the moment on 22 where he's sizing them and everything. Does it really make a difference? Is it worth getting into that and doing it? So, sorry to change it, but I just throw that at CW quickly.
No, it's we were going to get there. I knew it was going to come.
Sorry.
No worries. Well, I mean, you got to decide for yourself. The die I bought was about 60 or 75 beans. The waltz die that, well, I won't say started it all, but it's kind of the accepted premium choice, is going to be available again. The guy who made them is getting up there in age, and he either sold off or sold the rights or gave it away. Whatever he did, there's somebody else producing them. And I got an email from him last week, and it's going to run you just under $200 for that die ship. What they do is they bump up the diameter and they allow you to change the nose shape. You can make a flat point or an EPS point or a hollow point. And basically, it's at its best with bulk type ammo. I think it's useless on premium ammo, and The reason for that is, and maybe you don't know, but these premium manufacturers, they produce the best ammo they can. But just because of the nature of the beast, some of the ammo is not perfect. So they've developed ways to cull out those imperfect ammo cartridges, and they sell them at a lower rate at a lower quality line. So you've got companies like SK, okay? SK, I forget what their top one is. Super long range, extreme long range. Then they've got a long range. Then they've got a Midas TAC. They've got one or two more. And although those aren't all the same line, the long range and the super long range are. And if you look at the claims of accuracy of the premium top of the line one, it's better than the small one, better than the lesser one. But the lesser one is still better than most everybody's stuff. Again, SK. Wolf ammo, for instance, is either SK seconds or an SK line that they make for Wolf. So it doesn't meet their performance goals. So when you're buying really premium ammo and then you think you're going to make it better by using this die, it's not going to happen, because that ammo is already premium. It's already select. It's already the best available. So I'm not saying don't buy the die or it's not worth it. I think it is. Obviously, I bought it. But stick with the bulk stuff. Stick with the auto match and stick with the Federal or 550s or the Remington Goldens or the Winchester, whatever Winchesters are. And you can improve on those. Now, does it work? I mean, you saw my targets. You got to trust me. That's what I did. I'm not going to lie to you. But you got to decide if you want to believe me or not. It was a shocker for me. I love to see it, and I'm very, very pleased that it does it. My buddy has a Neil Waltz die. He's been telling me about it for years. A couple of years ago, I bought this die, and I did play with it, but I didn't really look at it hard because I sized up some CCI standard velocity, and they wouldn't run in my target pistol. And because of that, I just set them aside and didn't use the die for about a year or so. But I've learned now that you can size that, bump it just a little bit, and it will run in semi-autos. It's got infinite adjustments for what it can do. Now, there's another company out there, Shooters. They have a website. They sell all kinds of stuff for the shooting industry, and they have a die as well. Their die is about $60. I have no experience with it to know what exactly it does, but it's the same theory, so it should be at least as good. The die I have is made by a guy named Guy Plum in Michigan. I bought it through eBay. Well, I bought it from him the way, if I remember correctly, something to do with just using eBay basically as a way to pay for PayPal. I don't remember what his deal was, but I got talking to him and he said, well, I'll put it on eBay and I'll send you a link and you can buy it. So I don't know why he really did it that way, but that's what he wanted to do. So, okay, that's what we did. I don't know how to get a hold of him or have contact information for him other than his name. Maybe you can search it out if you're a sleuthy type on the interwebs. But
so Six Shooter Texans asking you, does the dial indicator ride on the rim or the center of the bullet?
Okay, that's my rim checker, and that's a Raven. Mine's a Raven. There's a number of companies that make it, and I actually did another video, and I think I posted it, but I'm not sure. I made so many. Dial indicators have the ability to change the tips on them. When I did that first video showing the dial indicator and the rim thickness gauge, I had actually a very narrow, precise tip on it, which probably isn't the best one for doing what I was doing with it. It did work. It does work. But a flatter, broader tip that's going to cover more surface area, at least in my mind, is going to be a more, well, to quote Mario, more better way of doing it. So I have since purchased a cheap tip set off of Amazon, which was just $10, and changed out the tip. I don't think it's made any big difference, but it does measure over a broader surface area, which should offer more consistency.
Yeah.
Now, I've said it a couple times, and I'll say it again here. Yes, you're measuring, but really what I'm doing with it is I'm using it just to segregate like thicknesses. I know that they're running about 40 thousandths, 38, 42, in that range. But I, at least now, have not found one that's better than another. What I've found is just running all 38s or all 39s or all 40s or all 41s at the same time in the same group produces better results than mixing 38s to 42s, talking about rim thickness. So when I sort, I just sort within a thousandths. And when I find one that's more than the thousandths, it goes in one bucket, less than thousandths goes in another bucket, yada, 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 until I'm through my sorting. Another way you can sort is weighing them. I'm not sold on that. There's a lot of variables there. You're talking about the construction of the brass case, which can vary. You're talking about a priming charge, which can vary. You're talking about powder charge, which can vary. And you're talking about the bullet weight. You know, most of us are casters. We know our bullets vary in weight. And you're going to have a variance in your bullet weight. So weighing, what are you exactly doing in my mind? I don't see it as an advantage. Maybe guys do and get good results out of it. No more power to them. I don't see it. But I do see what rim thickness does. And I definitely see what this die does, uniforming bullet diameters.
Cool.
Yeah, some rifles you can adjust.
Okay, we're overtime for Gene. Are you ready?
I lost my up arrow. I'm ready, sir.
First world problems.
It's time for What's Hot Pot Got. Let's do this.
Well, since we're talking about 22s tonight, for the most part, rim fires, I thought I'd up that ante a little bit and double it up with this. Ooh, dropping it down now. First, I get my up. Can't find a dang arrow button. And this. This is a 44 auto mag. These are rare to come through the shop. Super rare. The entire time I've worked there, I think I've only seen a half a dozen of these pieces of brass come through the machine. Kind of a fun cartridge. Got a little piece on it here. 44 Auto Magnum Pistol AMP is a large caliber semi-automatic pistol cartridge developed in 1971 by Harry Sanford. The primary use is in the Auto Mag pistol. The cartridge was also employed in the Wildy automatic pistol, including a few other custom pistols. While factory loads are manufactured, cases can be made by cutting down and reaming out 308 Winchester or 30-06 Springfield brass, with ballistic performance similar to the 44 Magnum revolver cartridge. It was designed in 1971 by the Automag Corporation. It was produced from 1971 to 1982 and then discontinued until 2017 to present. I would like to shoot that out of a semi-automatic. See how that case is kind of like corroded? And that's clean. I mean, I polished that up. It's still nasty.
I've met the guy who made those Wildies. He was in Brookfield, Connecticut, which is about 20 minutes from me.
I thought that was really cool, and I thought I'd share that tonight because it was 22 night. So I thought I'd double up and make it a 44. And that is what
cool.
That is what Hot Pot's got.
Thank you, Gene. I think the downfall of that was the pistol more than the cartridge, obviously.
Yeah. I've heard stories about him jamming a lot, failures to feed. But I think it'd still be fun to have one.
Oh, no doubt.
Magnum Force. Plenty
Yes. That was going to be my next question. Was that supposed to be the actual gun and round that he used in the 44 auto mag when his revolver got stolen?
I believe it was.
Yep.
And there's a few people that had the auto mag, and it's a cool gun, but it most usually jams on them.
I was gonna say you can buy them again. They re-released them. Reloader 762 put it out there. They're right now they're running $3,500, but they re-released them last year or a year before.
Hopefully with some improvements.
Yeah,
I was going to say. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jamie.
I was just going to say, yeah, their reputation precedes them. But that one seemed to work in the movie. Of course, everything works in the movies, right?
Yeah, you see a AR 22 that's shooting full auto with endless rounds. I love watching The Walking Dead and seeing that.
Right.
They made some big faux pas.
Jamie, do you mind if I say something real quick? I'll call out a brother, Hasbro. On some of his shows when he's shooting those long range targets or whatever, with a really, really nice rifle. If you watch his videos, sometimes a $14 or 14 acorn, box of 22 long rifle won't get as good groups, as one half that price or even cheaper. So I assume it probably varies per different rifle. But I've heard a lot of those guys say, if you find one that works really good in your rifle that's consistent, stick with that. So.
Yeah, Julian had asked about ammos. It's largely the same as centerfire stuff, meaning that your gun's going to like what it's going to like. But having said that, generally speaking, you're going to find, unfortunately, the higher the price tag, the better chance of good, consistent accuracy. For me, it's 10x. That's the litmus test. That stuff always shoots the best for me. But Lapua's got their Center X, and SK's got their Midas Point, Midas Plus. These ammos are pushing $20, $30, $40 a box. They're almost $1 a piece. Is it worth it? Depends on what you're doing with it. You know, do you? For me, I don't buy a lot of it. I do keep a few boxes, maybe not a full brick of 10X, because I know it shoots so good. When I need to test something or need to have something shoot the best I can, I'll pull out that Elite 10X. I didn't pick up anything that fancy with this purchase I just made from Midway. I think the biggest dollar box was probably 17 or so bucks a beans a box, which is expensive for 22, but I wanted to try it. There's plenty of stuff out there that's just a little more than the average, that's enough of a accuracy improvement to make it worthwhile to me. But you got to make that decision for yourself, what you're doing with it, if it's worth it to you.
And I've got a quick question for Gene, since he's in the industry, on just 22 in general. Is 22 kind of, I know that there's different grades of 22, but like when you get down to like the Remington Golden Bullets and stuff like that, when you're starting to get into the cheaper stuff, do they just not keep the tooling up on that stuff like they do other rounds, or is they just kind of see that as kind of a poo-poo thing, and it's just they're trying to mass produce as much of it as they can and just throw it out there, and they just kind of don't care, or am I way off base on the 22 stuff on that, asking that question?
You're asking me?
Yeah, I didn't know, since you,
Pat, I work at a reloading supply, so
right.
all the 22 IC comes out of the center chute in the sorter and goes into a drum, and then we scoop that into a bag and we take it to the scrapyard.
Right.
That's
I just didn't know, since you're around that stuff a lot more than what we are.
No,
if
I don't
heard anything like that.
No, I don't deal with anything with the 22 at my work. Just we turn it into scrap, man. That's it. That's all we do with it. I get to see a lot of live rounds, but there's really very little designation that I recognize on it, because I'm not a precision 22 shooter. I mean, I take my Model 60 out and I plink on the plates at 100 yards, and I take my TX22, and TX22 loves Federal. It eats Federal and Blazer. It eats Blazer like crazy. It's accurate in that TX, but that's about all I know about it.
Okay, well, then let me ask this question. What are you seeing for unspent rounds coming through? Are you seeing more than one than the other, or are you paying that much attention to it?
A lot of CCI. See a lot of CCI and a lot of the Golden Boys.
Yep. Gotcha. I guess in a roundabout way, I guess that's kind of what I was asking, what you'd seen that, just in your line of work, on what's kind of unspent, and what's something like that.
Yeah, I don't give it that much attention. I'm more worried about finding things like this 44 Auto Mag brass. Big stuff. There's just so much 22 that comes through the machine. It's incredible, man. It's millions of rounds of it that I've seen. Millions and millions. And it just goes into that big barrel underneath the machine, and really get time to actually like sit and go through that stuff.
Addressing a comment that I posted up there on the screen about CCI and Remington. One of the ammos that I got was CCI suppressor ammo, because I'd never seen it around here, so I grabbed a couple boxes of that to try, and I ran it through my rim thickness gauge, And I stopped after the first box because every stinking one of them was the same. So if you're worried about Remington quality control, it's all what you buy, because Remington Subsonic, Remington brand Subsonic, I also ran through the die, and it varied about 6 thousandths. But CCI suppressor, like I said, I stopped at one box because every single bullet was within a half a thousandths of each other. They're both
That makes a
both
lot
Remington.
of sense.
You know, it's all what you spend on the ammo.
Yeah,
If we
because oh, go ahead. Sorry.
go ahead, finish your thought.
I was just going to say that makes a lot of sense because I've had the Remington subsonic and I've had the CCI subsonic. And, granted, I didn't check anything, along those lines coming out of the semi-auto pistol. But, man, that CCI was just way better than that Remington subsonic. It just shot better, better groups, hands down.
Okay, there's a couple I want to, couple of comments. Tuners, I think it was 3G, was asking about tuners. I don't own a tuner and I don't anticipate owning one.
I answered him, Jamie.
I saw that, and my thinking is if my rounds that I'm loading ain't shooting, I need to go back and do some work on my loads. To me, and again, there's some great shooters out there that are buying those Eric Katinas and other tuners out there. I just feel like if, as reloaders, that's what we do. So we're kind of defeating the purpose. And then I want to address this. Info Bros, if you're going to load 45 Colt rounds with store-bought ammunition, store-bought bullets, or production bullets, you don't need a sizer. Sizers are for cast bullets.
He mentioned he's got some from Summit City, which are cast, and probably they are high-tech coated. But they, if they're at 4.52, it's not likely that you're going to need to size them any smaller than that. The only thing with that Ruger is it might do better with bigger diameter cast bullets, but try them when you get the revolver, measure the cylinder throats and see where they are. But I don't think you're going to need a sizer die either for those cast ones.
If they're already sized.
Yep.
And I know nothing about 45 Colt, but so I want to thank Hillbilly for the idea. I found an old mouse and it's taking the place of my up arrow just fine. Thank you very much. And do I need to do this too? Yeah, let's do this too. He sent me this mouse pad to put it on, and I won't say what I said earlier. So I appreciate the mouse pad, and it's very heavy duty. And not that I'm trying to pimp out Hillbilly stuff or nothing like that, but if you need a mouse pad, this will get some conversation started at the office if you take one. And I've got a surprise for Hillbilly tomorrow night on Hillbilly Up. So, and also, dang, brain fart. One of the guys, I know Tim Mess, you ain't kidding. Anyway, Hillbilly knows already that Gizzard Gary's not going to be doing a show tonight. He's doing Sunday night, so we can stay on a little longer. We don't have to be in such a big hurry to get off here this evening. And Rollis has got a good point. Your barrel jump, all the tuners in the world ain't going to help.
Well, let me address that a little. A tuner will always help, but it's not going to change any problems you have with the barrel, I think is what he's saying. Tuner works because when a bullet goes down the barrel moves. It has harmonics, and harmonics are changed by the way we reload, with the amount of powder we use, with the weight of the bullets we use, with the position of the bullets within the chamber, the overall length, the jump to the lands. All those things have bearing on the harmonics that are produced by firing them, or produced by a bullet running down the barrel. What a tuner does is it changes the length of your barrel or the weight of your barrel in order to change that sine wave so that your bullet exits the muzzle when it's at its most stable point. If you picture, does everybody know what a sine wave is? First of all, I know you guys in the side chat can't answer me, but if you think of old sci-fi, 50s sci-fi movies, let's say, when you see that wavy line on the oscilloscope, okay, it's a sine wave. It's called. It's a up and a down, up and a down, up and a down, up and a down, all across the screen for forever and ever. Well, as your bullet goes down the barrel, it's producing that kind of a whip. And if your bullet exits as your barrel is going up or going down, it's going to be less consistent than if it exits when it's at the very top or at the very bottom of that wave. What a tuner does is it allows you to tune the movement of the barrel to where the bullet exits at its most stable. That's how a tuner works. That's what a tuner does. So it's not going to fix bad rifling or a bad diameter or rough spots in your bore or any of those things that would make a barrel bad. But it will allow the barrel to do the best job it can for the given load you're putting through it.
Yeah, and see, I've always been kind of curious on a barrel tuner because everybody and their dog on the internet says, especially with the short-barreled Mosin Nagants with the foldable sticker on the end of it, or even the 9130s, that you have to shoot with the bayonet on because that's the way they were tuned and everything. And it's just like, I've never had any problems, at least with any of mine. I'll put it that way. Your mileage may differ with other ones. I've never had any problems with bayonet or no on there. And because everybody says that it screws up the harmonics if you don't have that on there and everything. And I've seen plenty of guys on the internet with good 9130s or even carbines shooting good groups with them. So that kind of makes me wonder if that busts the myth on that or what. I'm not sure. So I don't know if you can expound on that a little bit.
It's the same thing. It's the same as how your point of impact can change when you put a silencer on, or point of impact can change when you put a compensator on. Same exact thing. Same exact reason. It might be favorable. Okay. It might not.
Okay. Because, like I said, I never had any problems with it on or with it off. So I guess I might have got lucky with mine, with all the ones that I've got. So. But I'm kind of odd. I collect Mosins, so.
Yeah, the main thing, and somebody put a comment, and let me see if I can find it. Johnny 1982 said he bets a suppressor messes up sine wave all kinds of ways. Not necessarily. Ozark down later said that he gets more consistent groups with his suppressors, and I think what we're looking for as shooters, not necessarily reloaders, uh, is consistency. We want that bullet to exit the barrel at the same point in the whip every time. That's what we're going for. So there's that.
Well, and the great thing to remember too is we can both have the same gun, same exact gun, and they're both going to shoot completely differently. They're not going to be the exact same. You can take the same
With-
ammo, same reloaded ammo, whatever it be, factory or reloaded, and it's not going to shoot the exact same.
And they can have sequential serial numbers. Like I could have the one right after Scotsman's come off the line, and they'll still shoot really different. And we've seen a little bit of that recently.
That's one of the big reasons that we are reloaders, because we're tuning it to our firearm.
And that's why you do what you do. That's why we shoot reloaded ammo rather than buying it off the shelf. Right, Mac, man?
That's right. Totally agree with you. Especially on those precision rounds for the rifle. Big difference.
That sounds horrible, Thorax. So since we can stay a little bit later tonight, I'll go ahead and do verse of the week if that's okay with everybody, and we'll get back on the subject of all of that. And Johnny will address that comment as soon as we get back. Free bore versus a bedded stock, two totally different things, and we'll get into that. Can you remember that? Somebody? Okay. Okay, if y'all remember, we've been going through the Sermon on the Mount, and last week we talked about how we should pray. The week before that, we talked about how we should pay our alms or do our giving, and that sort of thing. So let's start here in verse 8 of Matthew chapter 6. And again, we're going through a concept more than a verse here in order to keep the scripture in context, because that's a very important thing in my mind. Therefore, do not be like them, for your Father knows the things you have need of before you ask it. In this manner, therefore, pray. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And do not lead us into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For yours is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. Verse 14. For if you forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you do not forgive men their trespasses, neither will your Father forgive you your trespasses. So, what we need to remember here, starting in verse 8, and you remember Jesus said when you pray, do not use vain repetitions or like the heathens, and he referred to the hypocrites and all that, meaning pretenders. So, a lot of folks refer to this as the Lord's Prayer, but to me, the Lord's Prayer is John chapter 17, and we can get into that if you want to. But what we see here is how we should pray, not necessarily the words that we should say when we pray, but we need to follow this format. As we see, he says, "O Father in heaven." Up until this point, nobody in the Bible has referred to God as Father. Particularly the Jewish folks that run the synagogues thought that was too intimate. You were getting too close to God. You were getting, that's too casual to call God your Father. And then the next line there, we see, "Hallowed be your name." This is praise. And this is honoring God for who he is and what he's done for us. And then we get to verse 10, your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. We need to recognize God's will, and we need to be about doing God's will in our life. And when we say, "Give us this day our daily bread," what we're asking God for there is the things that we need to sustain our life in a daily matter. Because what we got to understand here is it don't matter how rich or poor we are, how much we have or how much that we don't have compared to some other folks. Everything belongs to God, and he blesses us to be able to be the steward of those things he blesses us with. And when we say, "Forgive us our debts," the older translations say, "Forgive us our trespasses. Forgive us our sins." We need forgiveness of our sins every day because we are not perfect. And then we get to, "As we forgive our debtors." Well, people are going to sin against us, and we need to forgive them if we expect forgiveness from God. And Jesus even says that in the last two verses of this passage. "Do not lead us into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one." God will not tempt you, and he will not allow you to be tempted more than you can stand. And he always gives us a way out of the temptation. We can always cut and run. So God does not tempt anyone, and we should not tempt God. "For yours is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever." Again, we begin our prayers with glorifying God, praise to God, and then we end our prayer in the same fashion. And I hope that made sense. Then when we get to the closing two verses of that particular section there, "For if you forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you do not forgive men their trespasses, neither will your Father forgive your trespasses." And we're not talking about our salvation here. We're talking about a life that is free from, y'all have heard me say on here before, I don't have time and I'm too lazy for hate. It just takes up too much energy. I ain't got the time or the energy to be hating on somebody for anything. So that's what God is wanting for us. Be forgiving, and you will be forgiven. Okay, somebody help me out of this because I went way too long and dug way too deep a hole. And
Sounds good. You did good. That's what it is. That's what it says. That's what it's always been. I mean, that's how I was taught it, and that's the way it is.
And during that time, we had 41 comments. You guys are awesome out there. Any other comments on the passage tonight?
I got nothing more to say on it tonight. He doesn't said it all.
Yeah, and as you were saying, some people call it the Lord's Prayer. there's some people who've been taught, you can say this before you go to bed each night or whatever. And I guess if, you're fairly maybe a new Christian or something like that, a new believer, it's definitely not a bad prayer to start out with to say at night. But it definitely there's some really, really good words in that, and you went through them wonderfully, buddy. You did. I think you covered most all of it for me, anyhow.
Well, I appreciate that. Bama Dad's asking, is he the only one that? Oh, okay. Not the truth of it, the putting it into action. Yeah. There's loads of bacon. What's going on out there? Good to see bacon.
Loads of bacon. My goodness. He lives.
Holy crapola.
Good to see Bacon. We've been missing him, and he made a comment on the wedding video. So good to see him out there. I think if we go through that as a model of how we should pray, not those exact words, because you've got to express your heart to the Lord, not somebody else's words and somebody else's heart. The best thing you can do is use that as a model as to how we can how you talk to the Lord, and that's going to look different for everybody. And remember, it's a matter of your heart and not the praise of men. Okay, so we were going to talk about one of the comments.
Batted versus free float.
You done good, Scotsman.
That was from Johnny.
You want to expand on that? You want to take this one? You want some of us to dig in?
Hell, CW's probably done more of it than I have. I haven't messed with it too much.
Well, free bore is a matter of the chamber, and bedding is totally different. That's making sure your rifle ain't moving in the stock. Right?
Correct. I think he corrected himself a little later in a comment, meaning free floating or full bedding.
Yeah, he was talking about free float barrel versus the.
So my answer to him was that both can work very well, but what you need to realize is if you are bedding the complete barrel channel into the stock of your rifle, that rifle stock may change with conditions, temperature or humidity, and that could impart stresses on the barrel in ways that you don't want them to. So you really want to think about what your particular rifle is when you decide on what you want to do. The old theory was to have pretty much free float all the way out until you get right to the very end of the stock where you had just a little bit of upwards pressure. And you can simulate that pretty easily with, let's say, a matchbook. You take your action out of your rifle, and I'm talking if you're fully free floated, to see if you might benefit from some upward pressure. and you put a couple of shims of cardstock in there, and you put your stock back on, you squeeze it back down, and you go and shoot the gun and see if it's going to change your point of impact, but see if it changes your group sizes. As an experiment, it's a free thing to do and find out if it works, and then you can build up a little dam in your stock and put some bedding in there and apply that same pressure and make it permanent if it works out for you. If you're using composite stocks or an aluminum chassis or laminated to a degree, those are all a lot more stable with condition. So those might be better choices if you're choosing to have a full-length bedding. If you've got a really, really light, thin barrel, you may benefit from a full-length bedding simply because even though the stock is going to impart or can impart stresses, combined, it may be more rigid than it would be with just the barrel. You may just get wicked whip in that really light barrel. That full-length bedding might calm down. Unfortunately, you kind of got to do it to find out if it works. So there's really no free ride. Generally speaking, a heavier barrel, people want to free float that all the way out. If you've got a really light barrel, I'd probably think about more bedding than free floating. And if you got a really heavy barrel, I'd think about more free floating than I would full-length bedding. You want to keep your action, rigid in the stock and not moving, but the barrel, you kind of want to let that do its thing, because, like we're saying, it does move and have harmonics, and if it's not going to be allowed to do its thing, it may have adverse effects on accuracy. But then again, if it's really, really thin, it may benefit from a little bit of support. So it's all a trial and error thing.
Yeah, and I'll throw my 2 cents in on top of what CW said. At least with the rifles that I've done in the past, anyway, I don't necessarily do it with wood stock guns just because it's in and out of the house. It could be high humidity, or it could be super dry, or it could be raining. Most of the stuff that I hunt with really accurately. I've had good luck with a synthetic stock on a free float with the barrel, but glass bedding the receiver and everything in there. Now, some of my wood stock stuff has responded very well, especially if you've got a weaker stock on some of this older stuff, bedding the receiver and everything in there. And I found that to be very good and not crack out the back end of the stock, especially with some of this older Milser stuff, especially if you've got a really good stock. Or I should say a really nice looking stock. I'll put it that way. But that's just my kind of trial and error stuff that I've had good luck with so far, and it served me pretty well so far. But yeah, a lot of the stuff that CW said has been pretty much on the money for the way I've done stuff.
I'm addressing Tim S.'s question about vain repetition. Back, people used to think that by long prayers and repeating themselves over and over, that God would pay more attention to their prayers. Spurgeon, I think, was one that said it best in my mind, that a Christian man's prayers are judged by God by their weight, not by their length. Some of the most impactful prayers are off some of the shortest. And again, we're talking about a heart thing. And again, we go back to that concept of people wanting to appear pious. They wanted people to think they were godly men rather than actually living it. And God, Jesus called them whitewashed tombs. They're painted up on the outside and men's bones on the inside. So you can look pretty on the outside and be full of death on the inside. So, man, if I'm not careful, a sermon's going to break out here, and I'm going to get. Good to see you, Ron Wayne. Have a good weekend, buddy. Y'all tell Ron bye.
Night, Ron.
All right, Ron.
Night, Ron.
See you, buddy.
Yeah, when you say free floating, I think of the barrel. You don't want anything touching the barrel. When you say pillar bed, I think of our bedded stock or whatever. I think of making sure that the receiver in the gun is in firm contact and is not able to move in the stock.
One of the big things that pillar bedding does is pretty much addresses what Tommy's saying there. If you envision any given rifle stock, old school 60s, 70s, 50s, Remington, Winchester, Savage, wood stock, walnut stock rifle. Those screws that screw the action into the stock are literally a hole in the wood with a screw through it, and the head of the screw comes up against the walnut and compresses the walnut to squish the stock to hold it to the action. Now, we've said a couple times here that wood moves with condition. So as it ages, it loses moisture, it shrinks. Tommy made a comment there that your bedding can shrink in a barrel bedding job and may need to be redone after a period of time. It all depends on the material that you use for your bedding. There's a few you can use, any epoxy or whatever, but you're going to find that some things are better than others. Some I want something really, really hard, strong, rigid. I don't want epoxy that's like any given 5-minute epoxy, let's say. I'll use that to glue my pillars in, but I won't use that for bedding. I want something along the lines of Acroglass or Devcon or I forget the name of those stuff. It's a marine text material. It's very, very hard. Almost I won't say glass hard, but very, very, very rigid. That's what I want for my bedding, because I don't want it to move, and I don't want it to compress under recoil, but it needs to be strong enough that it doesn't be brittle or crack. Anyway, back on the pillars. So what pillars do, you envision that wood squishing and the wood changing with conditions. What pillars do is you drill out the wood stock to a larger diameter. Let's say most stock screws, let's say, are going to be 1/4 inch. Just for the sake of argument, we're going to say they're 1/4 inch. You drill that stock out for 3/8 or 7/16 or even 1/2 inch, and then you make a pillar, which is a aluminum or a piece of steel with that 1/4 inch hole in it, with the outside diameter of 3/8, 7/16, 1/2 inch, whatever size hole that you drilled in your stock, at a height that is the same as the stock thickness in that area. So it might be 1/4 inch, might be 1 inch, who knows what it is, depends on where it is. In the wrist and the back, it could be 1 inch thick. Up in the front where the receiver ring is, it could be 1/4 inch. whatever it is, you scarify up that pillar and you glue it in to the stock. So now it's part of the stock. Now when you put your gun back together and you tighten down those screws, that screw will turn until it stops when everything tightens up, and it'll turn like a quarter or 3/8 of a turn more, and it's dead stop. That's it. And you can torque that to 50, 75 inch-pounds, and it's going to stay and remain solid. But if you did the same thing to that old 700 Remington 70 Winchester or Savage 110, it's going to compress that wood, and it might be good for a few shots. It might be good for a few weeks. It might be good for a day, but it's going to change because that wood is getting compressed, and it's going to stay compressed. So that screw is going to be looser, especially when it feels the forces of recoil. So it's going to be inconsistent. So it's not going to be, and we all learn consistency is key for accuracy, and it's for everything. Consistency in how you hold the gun, how you squeeze the trigger, how the action stays in the stock, how you build your loads. Consistency. It's all encompassing. So that's what pillars do.
Yeah.
Bedding helps support the action. Pillars do to a degree, but pillars are more for the compression, for the torque applied. Bedding is holding the action in the same position in that stock. Whether it goes out into the barrel, again, that determines what you want based on what your barrel is, your thickness of your barrel, what you feel you need, or what you want to experiment with.
I was going to say one thing I'm guilty of and one thing I recommend if you can. And they don't make it easy. But if you're going to take the barreled action out of the stock, and we all have to at some point, we need to find out what the factory recommendation is for that torque setting on those action screws. And we need to go ahead and try to get those set back to factory specifications. And the reason I say that is I read an article, and Dave Thorzak, he's got a great comment out there. Y'all can check that out too. But me and him's talked before about Ruger M77s and their hit and miss accuracy from early on when Ruger was sourcing out their barrels. They didn't make them like they do now. But what I found out reading this article and watching a couple of videos, that the Ruger M77s have an extremely high torque recommendation. I think it's like 90 to 95 pounds of torque on those action screws.
Well, the front one is angled on the Ruger. It doesn't go straight in like it does on the Winchesters and the Remingtons. It's on an angle. If you look at yours, Jamie, you'll see it.
I need to get that out anyway.
They have a flat bottom receiver. They're modified. They're basically a commercial Mauser, which is a flat bottom, flat lugged, integral lug receiver. Where control feed too, yeah, but just the action I'm talking about in the bedding, where Remingtons and Winchesters had a different style recoil lug.
Johnny's got a lot of thoughts on tuners.
Yeah, he's a little cart before the horse, but I actually today, I don't know how old the video was. I think it was about a year old, but I was just watching it today. It popped up in my feed of Eric Cortina and one of his year-old new style tuners. And he talked about how tuners birthed in the F class in bench rest. And he kind of said it, kind of taking credit, and he does have a big impact. Whether it was him or not, I can't say, but the way he said it was he started into PRS and brought his tuners, and the guys started asking about them, and seeing what he was doing and how he could shoot, and his record with F class kind of carried him into PRS, and people knew who he was, and it kind of took off in PRS shooting, and he designed a tuner with a comp in it because those guys wanted recoil reduction, recoil mitigation abilities, where the F class shooters weren't as interested in that. So he's got a number of different tuners for a number of different applications.
Okay, so we're headed up to the top of the hour, and we don't have to hurry out, but Johnny's got another great comment out there about 1022s. How they're susceptible to torque specs as well. So we'll start going through the room if y'all want to, unless y'all got another subject we need to talk about. And we'll get out of here and let these people get on with their weekends. They've been awful gracious to us.
Sorry,
Yeah.
did you say Gizzard Gary's changing his night?
This week he is. He's going to be on Sunday night.
Oh, it's just for 1 week, is it?
I think so. Yeah, Dave's talking about M77s, and I'll say this out of mine, and I haven't done a whole lot of load development for it, but the best groups I've got out of that rifle and 30-06 was just under 2 inches. And I know it'll do better, and I know I can do better. But if it don't, I'll just get another barrel for it. I mean, get it worked over. So who wants to go first? I'm not going to let Hillbilly go first because he ain't got to go see Gizzard Gary tonight. So
Hey, I'll go first if that's cool.
That's always cool, Chico.
Yeah,
Glad
that's
to
it. I
see
still
you
remember.
here.
So look, I appreciate everyone coming out for another Friday night Jordan Shooting Connection. It's been awesome. All the comments and interaction in the side chat. I appreciate everyone. Nice topics, 22. But we can talk about 22 forever. It's like the list is, I even left off some guns that I have. So, but I appreciate everyone out there in the side chat, all my panel members. It was good seeing everyone. It's good to be on here. I had some time. So yeah, that's it for me. I don't have much on the roster. I need to do something. I need to probably do some casting, some loading. I definitely need to do some loading. But that is it for me. Again, appreciate everyone out there in the side chat and all my panel members. And I'm gonna shoot it to let's give it to Mac Man because he's right there beside me.
Absolutely.
Cool. Thanks for the invite, guys. Sorry it's a bit late, but work run over again, and this 3-hour time difference really messes with me trying to get finished to jump on. But I really appreciate you letting me jump on. I put a short out earlier. I picked up a new pistol tonight. I picked up the Colt Elite Combat little 3-inch one that's everybody's been raving about. So I managed to pick that up this week. And they told me the Canuck TTI is coming in for me next week. So I can't wait to get my hands on that. Gene's been teasing me with it all week, and I can't wait to get my hands on that new Canuck. I love those Canucks. So yeah, I'm going to try and get some videos done. I'm going to try and upload the videos from last weekend when we were at the shooting range and some of the ones when me and my wife went on the state park. So I'll try and get them edited tomorrow and put on. But yeah, great side chat. Thanks for everybody jumping on and really appreciate being here. I love being on here with you guys. Thank you.
Thank you for being here, and it's great to have Chico and you as well, man. Thanks for all of our panel members and everybody in the side chat. Yeah, Dave, that's what I'm finding, brother. 1.5 to 2 inches. So, Pat in the bunker, you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me on. And gentlemen, good evening. Good chat tonight with all the 22 stuff. That's, kind of the first kind of introduction to firearms, as far as I'm concerned, when your dad or your grandpa or somebody says, you're going to learn how to shoot this. And it might have been theirs, or they might have got you a brand new one or something. That just was so awesome when I was a kid growing up. That first actual firearm, not a BB gun, not anything like that. Your first firearm, a 22. I was like, yes, I'm moving on up. So that was a blast when I got my first one. I can still remember when I got it. It is something always be near and dear to my heart. So, but other than that, man, I ain't got much going on. I'm just busier than heck. So anyway, just thanks for having me on, and thanks for letting me come on here and talk with all you fellers and have this great conversation tonight. So yeah, we'll pass it on.
Thanks, Pat. We appreciate you, brother. Walter, you want to go next?
Sure. Been another great Friday evening. Thanks so much for the invitation to participate here on this panel. It's always a real honor for me to be here. And I appreciate all of the family over here in the side chat. You guys just are, you make it worthwhile to be here for sure. So I'm kind of behind on videos. I'm finally going to get the video out tomorrow with that new 44 Winchester centerfire, aka 4440 pistol that I got a few weeks ago, and I got it out and shot it, and then I didn't shoot it very well, but we're going to put the video out anyway with the overview and a little bit of shooting video with that guy. That'll be out tomorrow. And what else? I'm going to play a little bit more with that new ultimate turret press from Lee. I'm not real thrilled with that press so far. But it is what it is. Lee's put out some other good stuff lately, but one's not in the list, I don't think. So I'm going to be messing around a little bit more with Lee's new inline bullet feeder. I had tried a couple other bullet feeders over the years, never liked them for my applications, but this one that Lee's got, and it's not brand new, it's been out a while, but it works really good in conjunction with Lee's square start M style powder 3 expander. That thing is good. It's a good one for the price point. It's hard to beat. If you already got an auto drum, it's another $3 for that new insert is all, and it works really well for seating a bullet out of that bullet feeder die. Anyway, so I'm going to do some more video with that this coming week. So other than that, kind of status quo. I owe another Free the Few episode. I didn't get that out done today either. So, and we got the 45 ACP shootout still going on. So that's what we got happening here at Casa de Viejo, and looking forward to seeing everybody again soon. I'm going to be gone next weekend, though. I won't be here, I don't think. I'm going to be in places where I'm not going to have any cell phone coverage. At least that's the plan. I need to get away from tubes and TVs and chips and fights and bits and stuff for a while. Gonna go hang out with my motorcycle buddies next weekend. So
Nice.
All right. Yeah, that's it for me. Should we go upstairs to Smoketown up there?
Thank you, Walter. We appreciate you. Go ahead, Gene. What you got coming up?
Oh, hey, everybody. Thanks for tolerating me for another night. I appreciate it. Paneling in the side chat. What got going on? So I got to work in the morning. Then I'm going to the range with the TTI MacMan.
Ooh.
So you'll get to see some slow-mo of that firing off. I'll get that up as soon as I can.
Ooh,
Just for you. Just for you. Just for you, brother. Just for you. Then let's see. Sunday I got a match. Hopefully that'll run well. Got new magazines in for my open gun. And so far they're working really good for me. The match will be the test though, because if it's going to go wrong, it's going to go wrong at a match. Always. Hey, thanks for having me on tonight. I greatly appreciate all of you. And man, we'll go over here to Scotsman. What's going on with you?
Skip and Hillbilly.
Not much. Good to be here. Good to see everyone out there. We had an awesome chat. We got a lot going on there. So good conversation. Rimfire and all those challenges out there. Don't forget those challenges. Jump out there and do some of those challenges. Even if you don't have a rimfire, use an air rifle, PCP, whatever you got. Get out there and shoot, man. That's pretty much it. Appreciate being here. Good seeing everyone. Yo, Billy, what you got, man?
Oh, man. First of all, I want to say thanks a lot for having me on here. I always enjoy it. Great way to start off the weekend. Always a great panel and side chat, man. Just so much fun to be here. Oh, I hopefully am going to be shooting videos this weekend if the weather is not too windy. We've had a lot of wind, that's for sure. Then tomorrow night we got Guns, Beer, and Therapy, 9 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Eastern. So if you ain't doing nothing, swing over and visit us. We try to have a good time there. And again, I appreciate y'all. Love each and every one of you. CW, what you got coming up, brother?
Oh, I got lots of stuff coming up. But unfortunately, I did it all about a month ago, so I can't tell you what it is. Still got a video a day, and I got videos a day on out until the middle of May so far. So,
Wow.
You got a lot more in store for CW. But range videos, bench videos. I got a project going on with restocking a 98 Mauser. I wasn't going to do anything with it to show you guys, but it started shaping up really quickly. And I said, darn it, I should have videoed this from the start, because if you just saw what I started with, you would have, scratched your head and say, what the heck do you think you're doing, dude? But it really shaped up really respectably to what I showed you in that short. So I'll bring you along, and I'll show you what's going on there. And along with 22s, I've decided to restock my Marlin 880 SQ. Mine is the video is coming out tomorrow. That one I know, on 2 Marlins. But that one is a first-year production gun, which when Marlin produced it, it used parts from other guns to produce this one before they got everything ramped up to the actual production of this particular gun. So my gun has a match chamber, has an extra bedding screw, is drilled for sights and for scope. The guns made in 97 or mid 97 on did not have a match chamber, did not have the extra bedding screw, and were not set up for sights. Making mine better. It was the same as the Model 2000, if you remember those. Marlin produced the 7000, which was the semi-auto, and then the 2000, which was the bolt action. These were, think Winchester 52s, but not quite as nice, but competing in the same disciplines. And they were really good shooters, and as my Marlin is. So it really deserves a nice target stock. It's got a nice stock on it. They came with plastic crappy stocks, and I, living so close to Marlin and having friends in Marlin, talked to the VP over there, one of them I was friends with, and he said, yeah, bring it down. So I sent Sandra over, and they brought her in and let her pick through stocks, and she picked out one and sent her home with it. And it's a very nice stock. You saw it in the video with the on-shoots. Nothing wrong with it. It's just a conventional rifle stock. I picked up a Boyd's Pro Varmint, which is an on-shoot style target stock with a big butt, big wide fore-end, flat fore-end. It's made for riding bags. It's designed for bench rest use, which is what I'm going to do with this rifle. So I got a couple of parts been coming in. I made a pillar today for the back of that. It's a 3/16 bolt. So I haven't been able to find pillars that I like. So I made one. And the front one is a 5/16 bolt. That I've got. So when that stock comes, I'll pillar bed it. Just today, the butt pad came in. It's an adjustable target butt pad on a aluminum plate that allows it to be moved up and down, left and right, tip it, turn it, whatever you want, so as you get a good shoulder positioning and cheek rest, cheek weld. It's gonna be nice. And then I'll probably at least glass bed the front lug. It's got a round peg like a lot of 22s had that dropped down to stock. So I'll glass bed that in there to make sure everything sits where it's supposed to. And then I'll free float that, because it's I don't know if it's 920, but it's 900 at least. It's a big heavy barrel. So that'll be a fun project, and I'll bring you guys along for that ride. And I got a couple different calibers, and I've started to drag things out of the back dark corners of the gun safes and show you a couple of rifles and shotguns and stuff that don't see the light of day very much. So I had a lot of interest in the Savage 24s when I posted that 222 20 gauge. So I pulled out a couple more, and I got a couple of those videos coming up. People seem to really like those Savage 24s as I do. So, and I did some more 3220 stuff. I got some 2520 stuff I just started, and I'm going to do a little bit with the 3006. So I got a lot of ideas and a lot of things coming up. So hopefully I'll find a couple things that people like and are interested in, and we can continue growing.
Very cool, man. Before we say goodnight, I want to say thanks to the panel, thanks to the side chat for being here. Y'all are why we do what we do. Scotsman tomorrow night at 7, Sunday night at 7, rather. American Hillbilly tomorrow night at 10 Eastern time. And then MacMan Monday night at 9 Eastern. Okay, we got that in. And want to see some Canic stuff, check out Gene. If you want to see two Southern boys go out to eat, I'll meet Chico at Waffle House here tomorrow morning. Peace. We love you. There ain't nothing you can do about it. We hope the Lord blesses y'all real good. And until next Friday night, if he's willing, we'll see y'all next Friday night at 8 o'clock. Say good night, y'all.
Good night,
God bless
everybody.
you.
Everybody.